how much is equal to $19,000. So I will be making a final payment of 19,000 to the vendor so as to set off this particular invoice of $54,000. Now I don't need the upper two line item to be made the payment right now. So what I will be doing is I will be deselecting those line items. So you can double click on this and you can see it has been deselected. Same way you can deselect the $108 line item. It has been deselected and you can see the amount has changed over to 54,000 because only $54,000 has been selected as of now. So out of this 54,000 I only need to make the payment of $19,000 because $35,000 I have already made the advance payment. So now for making the partial payment against 54,000 I will be making a payment of 19,000 only. So for making a partial payment you need to go to the second tab over here, that is the partial payment tab. So click onto the partial payment tab and the system takes you to the second tab and it says the payment amount. So you can fill over the payment amount which exactly you want to make the payment of. So I will be taking it over here as 19,000, enter, and the balance have been updated over here as 19,000. So this is what been selected, but the first column is still $1 because we initially filled $1 in the screen. So to change the bank payment amount you need to go to this screen, that is document overview. Click onto the document overview. You can double click on this line item. When you double click you can fill the amount 19,000, enter. Now again you can go back to this process open items and you can see the 19,000 is done and the balance is 0. So you must take care when you are making payment over here, it should always be equal to 0. If it is not equal to 0 you will not be able to process your document further. So once this has been done you can move and you can simulate your document so as to have a preview how it will be done. So this is your payment against the invoice of the vendor, that is bank is credited by $19,000 and the vendor is debited with $19,000, and if you post on this post option the document will get posted. So click onto the post and you have the document been posted and a document number is generated for the reference. So once this is done, again you can go back to this vendor line item and now over here I can update this report. For updating I have to go to this list and I have to click the refresh button so that while refreshing it will update your ledger too. So refreshed, you can see the balance have been updated over here. So the 19,000 payment have been updated on your ledger account. So you can see how things are done on the screen. But now there is another one question with me, that is whenever you make a down payment, you raise an invoice, you make a part payment, the remaining full payment against the invoice. So when this whole cycle gets completed from making down payment, receiving the goods, receiving the invoice, and then making the final payment, when the whole cycle is complete for that particular purchase of goods, then in that case these open items should not be reflected on the vendor ledger because this would confuse you when reconciling the vendor ledger account in the future. So what should be done is the transactions which have been completed with their invoice and payments, those line items should be cleared with each other. Clearing with each other means that they will no more will be reflected as a pending transaction. When you find these transactions red marked over here, this says that these are pending transactions and it has not yet been completed. So to complete the transaction, at times you need to do the clearing activities. So now to do this clearing activity you need to move to the transaction code FDES 44. So before moving to F-44, we'll do first is the F-54. Now F-54 is vendor down payment clearing. What this document does actually is that there is a down payment done, that is this and this. Now I want to convert my down payments, that is a special GL transaction. When you make any special GL transaction with the indicator, that is termed as a special GL transaction. So I want to convert my special GL transactions to a normal transaction. So when you want to convert your transaction to a normal transaction, in that case we use this transaction code FDAS54, by which what it does it clears the down payment line item, that is this line item, and it takes up another line item over here with normal transaction. That means it takes off the special GL indicator C and it updates another line item without any special GL indicator. So when the special GL indicators are taken off, that means that they are normal items. So now we'll be moving to the screen with F-54. Now moving to the transaction, let's execute /n F-54, enter. When you enter on the screen, you need to fill the document number first, then you have to move to the next is you need to select the vendor account, and now the most important part, that is over here, you need to select the invoice document number. So what is the invoice document number? The invoice which you booked in the vendor ledger. So the invoice we booked in the vendor ledger is of $54,000. So the document number for that is 1900004. If I want to copy this over here, you need to go to Control Y. You can see the mouse cursor has changed. Then you can select from over here, drag it till where you want to copy. So select it. You can Control C. The document has been copied. In the same way, you can copy the documents for you, and then Control V will paste the document where you want to paste the document for. If you want to fill any text, you can fill the text as well. Now or clearing to normal line item, and then you can move to process down payments. So this is what the detail you have filled in the initial screen, but now you can see that there are two line items which are as a down payment over here. So which line item you want to convert to a normal line item, that is what you have to decide. So for that you need to go to process down payment. So once you go to process down payment, what the system does, it shows you both the transactions which are special transactions for you. So if I want to convert my first line item, that is $15,000, I need to select that line item. So selecting this line item first and then moving to simulate. So once you simulate, it gives you the document, how it will be reflected, and then you can go and you can post the document. So once the document is posted, you can see the document number has been generated. Now going to the ledger account, you can see this. Now when I refresh this report, this ledger account of vendor, you can see the changes. So when I refreshed, you can see that the 15,000, that is the special GL indicator of line item for 15,000 has been taken off, and another $15,000 of document has been generated on the screen without any indicator. That says that the special GL transaction has been cleared against a normal item, and a normal line item has been generated by the system. So this is what is done with the transaction F-54. Now moving on to vendor clearing. Vendor clearing is basically used when there are transactions which are pending for clearing, or you can say the documents which are posted are complete but they have not yet been cleared, because of which they are standing on your ledger account as pending transactions, and that makes a lot of problems when you do reconciliations for vendor in later on dates. So it's always recommended to have vendor clearing at the month end at least. Do not delay it, because once you do it on a on 6 monthly or on a or half yearly or yearly basis, it creates a lot of problems and a lot of time get consumed. So we'll go to F-44 first and we'll see how things can be processed. So moving on to the screen, /n F-44, enter. Now over here you need to fill the account. Account means the vendor account, because we are moving to clear the vendor. So selecting the vendor code. Now over here, more important thing is, if you want that a special GL transaction shall also be get cleared with a particular transaction, so that that particular special GL indicator transaction doesn't remain as a pending one on the screen. So what you can do is, you can have to select this special GL indicator. So you can go to this, expand the list of indicator, and in this you can see for my indicator is C, so I will be selecting that, double click, and you can, okay, it has not been selected yet. So to select this special GL indicator, you need to select over here, and now click on to continue. So the C indicator has been selected. That means any special GL transaction with the indicator C will also get selected for clearing purposes. So now after that, when we filled all these detail, you can go to process open items. So when I move to this process open item, you can see all the ledger account has been reflected over here. Sorry, all the line items means all the transactions have been reflected. So you can match these transactions with your ledger account over here. It will 100% match with this, because what if the system does is it takes out all the ledger account on a screen, and then you decide which line item has to be cleared against which one. So the plus should be equal to the minus. Now moving on further, these all are selected. So what I need to do when you work on a practical scenarios in organizations, one particular vendor have thousands of line items in their ledger account. So what you need to do is, out of those thousands, I want only a handful of transactions to be cleared, maybe around 10, 12 or 15 line items or transactions to be cleared against each other. So for that, what you need to do is, you need to first deselect all these transactions, because these transactions are already selected as they are reflecting on a blue color over here, or it's been selected because they are reflecting on a different color on this. So what you need to do is, you need to go to this third tab. If you can see, select all from the left side. Then once I clicked on to select all, now you can see all the screen has been selected, all the data has been selected on a screen. Now after that, I would be moving from to the third tab from the right side, that is deactivate the item. So when clicking on to the deactivate the line item, it will deactivate all the data from the screen. So click on to the items. You can see all which have been highlighted now has been in the black color. That means they have been delisted from the highlighting. Now you can see even the balance has become 0 because nothing has been selected. So now I will be selecting what will be the transactions which need to be cleared against the invoices. So now I will be selecting first my invoice, that is $54,000. Now I will be selecting what are the different line items which need to be cleared against this. So the line item against this was the payment. The payment can be recognized with the document type, that is KZ. So we'll select this 20,000